folks, we are delighted that you've stayed with us. This is a very, very important issue we are debating here, and it's the proposed development of Lighthouse Point at the southern tip of Eleuthera. And here to help us to look into this very critical issue is FredMunnings and CeliMoss, both members of the Coalition to Save Clifton. In 1999, nearly 20 years ago, the coalition was established to try to retain for the Bahamian people land that, first of all, is considered valuable and critical to the development of the Bahamian people, but also more fundamentally, to keep in Bahamians' hands the land of this country, because we all know land is the cornerstone of wealth. And so we are fundamentally opposed to these enclaves by the cruise lines. In fact, the 8 or 9 such private tourism enclaves that exist, we should seek to take some of them back, even though it'll be very difficult because some of them have 99-year lease and all that kind of stuff. But the Bahamian people should say enough is enough. Not one other such project should be approved. And these gentlemen were there in the fight for Clifton, so they knew what we had to go through, and they know why we went through it. And also they were at Lighthouse Point, so they know. So gentlemen, what we are saying is the cruise lines cannot have the onboard revenue and also the land revenue. At least the land revenue should be for Bahamians.
You know, some of the other similarities to Clifton is you had prominent politicians seem as if that they were promoting on behalf of the private investor.
There was evidence of that in South Eleuthera.
But that's my point.
There's no question about it.
That's my point. The now representative there, he seemed as if he was one of the salesmen for the Disney people. I thought that the politicians should be allow the people to speak, but I see they all came with their T-shirts. I wonder who supplied and organized those T-shirts.
Well, you have to understand, you know, the government just passed a commercial bill, all right, that gives line staff jobs to foreigners that Bahamians could do with guaranteed work permits in 14 days. The government is also looking at signing on to WTO. So that means a little couple job Bahamians might get, but pretty soon you're not going to have them. These are global shipping companies that can bring cheaper labor from anywhere. The first place to save money is on labor. You understand? So a little couple jobs, you're not even going to get any help.
But to my point, when you look at that organization, that was very well organized. Oh, yeah. There were people on the ground organized. I wonder who those people were. And were they connected in any way to who were the representatives and those who were there promoting, it seems to me, and advocating for this project?
But there's something...
I would think that the representative would want to listen to what the people had to say.
But there's something even more fundamental.
Yeah.
And some people have been pushing the narrative that once South Eleuthera speaks, or once it's for South Eleuthera, once the people of South Eleuthera...
No, this is a Bahamian thing, man.
See, the land...
This land belonged to all
Bahamians.
Bahamians.
The land composed in that...
This land belonged to all Bahamians. For them to just narrow it down to those people who may have a vested... who may have even been... I don't want to say what I don't know, but they seem organized to the point where they were wearing T-shirts promoting Disney. Somebody organized that.
But we have to keep in mind...
And were they paid to do it?
We must keep in mind...
Those who organized it? Were they paid organizers?
Yeah.
So that's the first question. The second thing is, CB, what about the cultural impact that this development will have on our people?
Yes.
What about the cultural impact? We need to stop this cultural invasion. Disney will tell you they are an entertainment conglomerate. Huh? And I believe if people are coming to the Bahamas, they should come to the Bahamas for a Bahamian experience. And only Bahamians can give a Bahamian experience. Well, so the Bahamians need to be involved with that process. We need to take charge of that development in terms of what is offered there. Whoever owns it.
But Bahamians have to be ready to fight for it, though, Fred. You know, I spoke to some ladies.
I totally agree with that.
They're fire dancers at one of the big hotels here. They said, Chelly, you believe they get foreign fire dancers doing our job? I said, you all serious? I said, I get the placards. You all ready? Well, you go and see, listen, you got to fight for your things. You got to fight for your things. So let me tell you something. You go sleep on this with WTO, I call it WTKO. your job is in jeopardy. And pretty soon you'll see a foreigner singing, "Mama, bake your Johnny cake," because they could do it cheaper than you. You understand?
Absolutely.
The entertainers in this country need to rise
cultural
up,
invasion.
and you need to shut it down, because you need to see where this thing is going 10 steps down the road. Because listen, your politicians have sold you out. No politician in their right mind is going to create a deal that can undermine and hijack the tourism and the cultural industry. Where's your head? Where's your head? What are you thinking about? You understand what I'm saying? These people, again, like I said, they don't pay no duty to bring nothing into the country. And what this is all about, forget these entities. This is about how do we split the tourism dollar, the cruise ship dollar. Are we going to give the cruise ships all of the money and Bahamians get the crumbs? Or are we going to say, look here, you guys get what's on the ship, we get what's on the land? To me, that's a fair deal.
But
You
it's
understand?
currently worse than that.
Of
Shelley,
course.
It's currently worse than
Of course.
that. They're getting their onboard slice of the pie.
And they ain't sharing that.
They ain't sharing that. They're taking as many of the passengers as they can to their own private islands,
right.
and they're pocketing that money.
That's right.
But then at the end of the day, the government still
Subsidize.
subsidizes them
Giving them the
by
concessions.
no, not the concessions.
Yes.
Their departure times.
Right.
Tax they're giving back.
So,
That's
so
right.
they have the complete
At least
circle.
a part of it.
Listen.
They have the complete circle.
The bottom line is, Rev, this is the deal, man. We have weak negotiators negotiating for us for government. And the cruise ship need to understand that, look here, your only value to us, you got one job. You got one job. Your one job is to bring the customer, the tourist, to Bahamas,
To us.
so we could create a win-win situation. You make some money, we make some money. But if the deal is you're going to make all the money and we don't get nothing, you don't need to be here. Drive around the
Sail
Bahamas.
around the Bahamas, yeah.
Sail around the Bahamas.
Absolutely.
And we could focus on the stopover
stopover
customer
visitors. That
is
where we
correct.
could make more
That
money.
is
'Cause
correct.
If
And
the
again-
deal is going to be all the money for you and none for us, come on, man, what's wrong?
And like you say, the cruise ship industry is supposedly, in our formula, supposed to be just to bring the people here to whet their appetite so that they can come back and be
That's
online
not happening.
visitors. That's
Because
not happening.
over the years,
Not happening.
Over the years, the cruise industry
Right.
has bullied the government of the
Absolutely.
Bahamas. Bullied
And
the
I
government of the
think-
Bahamas into giving them the concessions they want. And if they don't get it, they threaten to pull out. Like
Absolutely.
Shelley said, you don't have to come through the northwest channel. Go around
Go
the
around
Bahamas.
us.
Listen, man, we
Go
here,
around us.
this business, we here for money. We here to make our money.
Money.
This has to be a win-win deal. If only you want to win, then deal off. If you want to come to the Bahamas, your only job is to bring your 3, 4, 5, 7,000 passengers to the Bahamas. You make what you make on the boat. You bring them here. We make our share. It's a win-win deal. But I understand the deal is everybody wants to increase their revenue. And after they've maximized theirs, now they're looking for ours. And because they see we have weak leaders who overpay for hotels, you understand? And now you see the airlines say, we ain't coming. You know why? Because why? They want leverage for more money. I don't blame them. You get donkeys doing things, take what you can take from them.
The tourism would tell us that the average cruise passenger spends less than $100 on land. That's when they come to
Our statistics tell us that.
That's what I'm saying. That's when they come to a place where you could come off and go shopping.
But-
now, when you go to a place where you go into your own island, how much you think they're going to spend
But
on land?
not only that, Rev, not to interject, but we see the port where we talking about people want to manage the port, the port right out here,
Yes.
and they want to have a little Bahamian enclave there. So they want to keep everything enclosed, everything all inclusive. So the money is never going to come over the hill
Never.
for us to make no money. And again, if we not going to make no money, what you here for?
Exactly.
And you know, you got to
Totally
tell a
agree.
guy just like that,
Simple
man.
as that.
You have one job. Bring the people here so we could make some money, or two of us could make some money. If only you want to make the money, you don't need to be here.
Ask
No
the people in the
apologies.
straw market.
That's right.
Ask the people in the straw market.
Ask the people right out there at Princess Key.
Yeah, they make no
We
money.
had testimonies of the fella telling us, man, you know, this is so terrible. This is absolutely
And they bring
terrible.
thousands of visitors there each month.
And they
but
keep them
get
behind the gate.
And when you allow them to
they don't
form
get out
these
to the
conglomerates and
locals.
these cartels and blocks on you, when their business is down, now they want to extort you that, but you got to pay us some cost to subsidize our thing. We see it in the hotels. Listen, you have to get stronger negotiators. If you come in, this has to be a win-win
It's the deal.
where we make some money. And my thing is, you don't give a guy nothing. Listen, we need to build a value of the value proposition for the tourist product where they see this a hot property and people come in and then they won't come. This idea about giving a guy concession, look here, man, this is the Bahamas. We're going to do our part as Bahamians to build a hot tourism product where people want to come. And who come in won't come, and who ain't won't come, don't want to come. But we had to make money. We had to make money. It all
we
can't be
read
for
in the
you.
papers this morning, Sunwig, out of Grand Bahama, they canceled. They said, you know, we're not going to fly to the Bahamas anymore. the government, through its representatives, indicated that Sunwig want to put them over barrel.
Absolutely.
They
And
want to.
they had to pay them.
They want to demand.
They want to
Listen,
demand
they
that
didn't
the
put
government
them
pay
over the barrel. The government put themselves over the barrel.
That's true.
When you're naive, okay, and you go commit hundreds of millions of dollars to buy an old hotel that doesn't fix the problem, as soon as you make that commitment, the guy know you got that anchor around your neck, and all of them gonna play bo peep with you. They get more money.
You said, look, I'm
yeah, that's like you going to go get a mortgage on your house.
And you know what's going to happen.
You used to tell your boss you don't want wake weekends. As soon as you get the mortgage and he say, I need you to wake weekend, you got to wake.
You got to wait. Not only that.
Come on, man.
This
ain't
same
rocket science.
Sunwig, after a little while, they will somehow arrive at a deal.
Yeah, of course,
You
of
understand what I'm
course,
saying?
of course.
After they would have
pressure
pulled
And
tactics.
after they get
They're
their
gonna
deal,
pull
you can
out.
see the other rest play crazy.
Exactly.
Listen, this government can get raped with no Vaseline, and ultimately we got to pay the price.
Yeah.
We got to pay the price because of their naivety.
Yeah, we do not
Jesus.
want to overlook, of course, the view of the people in South Eleuthera.
Yeah.
They want jobs. They want
Absolutely,
That's-
CV.
And I appreciate
But
that.
why can't they work for
Yeah,
themselves?
but we must have a bigger vision because we are talking about entrepreneurship. We're talking
Yes.
about empowering the people.
Yes.
I looked at the draft of the One Eleuthera proposal. They are preparing to hire more people than Disney.
More people
Not only
and
that,
give them sustainable jobs.
not only that, Disney's president said while he was here that their plans will not begin to bear fruit until the year 2022, 23.
So what's going to happen
One Eleuthera plan
over the next 4 or 5 years?
starts to bear fruit
Immediately. And it's sustainable.
And we are talking about empowering
And it's
local
Bahamian
people.
ownership.
That's what
So
we're
when you
talking
talk about sustainability, what are you talking about? You're talking about people. You're talking about profits.
See, listen.
You're talking about the impact on the environment.
We have to avoid the situation that occurred in Bimini,
Yes.
where that
That's right.
developer said to the government, we need to do this, and they raped the coastline, all those mangrove swamps and the breeding grounds of the fish and the sharks and the turtles. And then they said after that, we're going to have a ferry service out of South Florida, so we need 1,000-foot dock jutting out into the sea. They built a 1,000-foot dock. Now that whole thing is scrapped, and that dock is sitting out there like a monstrosity. And I saw on our
destroyed
landscape.
all of the.
You understand what I'm saying? We have to
coral,
stop
et
that
cetera.
in this country. We have to stop the foreign investors coming with a nice sounding plan. And
But
here's
when
what
you
we're
don't
going to do.
have any confidence in your own worth or your own value, when we look at that beautiful facility there,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to tell me Bahamians cannot develop an attraction there. People were coming there, Charlie, in a state as it is now. People were coming from all over the United States.
Here's the deal.
We met
See,
two sets of people from two
pro-
different areas.
The problem with making a bad deal is when you make one bad deal, you
gotta make
put an
another
anchor
bad deal.
around your neck, you don't make no money, then you have to make a worse deal, and then you have to make a worse deal, then a worse deal. It's better for you to make one big deal, one good deal, that's quality deal, and forget the little ones or twos. And we have people that have no confidence in negotiating. All they could do is negotiate to rent their building to their ministry. They don't know nothing. They give away too much stuff. This ain't wrestling. Ain't no gi in this. Something for something. You bring this, you get that. You don't bring that, you don't get nothing. You understand?
have worth. That's what I'm saying.
30 minutes off the world's largest consumer,
Absolutely.
the most beautiful place in the world. Once we increase the value of our tourism product, the people come in. They come in. We don't have to give this
instead
away.
Instead of us laboring under the threat from the from the cruise industry over the years,
Yeah.
they're going to pull out. Why don't we have them labor under the threat that we tell them, look, you might have to leave?
And CB, if we have such valuable property, if Disney is prepared to spend $400 million to develop 20% of what they're purchasing,
Listen.
where's the rocket scientist to tell you how much value? I'm sure they invest in that money because they love the color of the skin of those people in South Eleuthera.
Yeah, but Freddie, even if you don't want to do nothing with that property, just to buy that, to own that, to say, I own that, for future, that's worth the money.
That's right.
Forget putting something there.
Preserve it for Bahamian generations.
Yeah, but see, for me, the concept is simple. When you get into business with somebody, the first thing you want to know is how we sharing this money.
That's right.
How we sharing this money. You understand? And if me and you in business and for all the money for you, well, we're not going to be
most
in
of the money
business.
for you, that's right.
understand? How are we going to share this cruise ship dollar? And the way you share the cruise ship dollar is all the money you make on land, on the ship, is for you. all the money we make on land for the Bahamians. See, something got to be in it for us. This is our country.
Right.
And either Bahamians want the money or you don't. If you don't want the money, stop crying when your bills high and you can't pay.
As you said earlier, it goes back to us not knowing our worth, not knowing our value.
You gotta have
Because
value, man.
look at the cruise industry. Where else could they operate a 3-day cruise? Or even the day cruise out of
Okay.
South
Where you
Florida?
going?
Where you
And
going?
not only that, let's even look a little
to
closer.
go down to the South Caribbean, you need 7 days.
Some of these same lines are going into Cuba, you know. But they're not doing that foolishness in Cuba.
No?
Listen,
They ain't gonna
man.
buy no island in Cuba, that's
Listen,
for sure.
listen, if you see a donkey, you ride him, okay? I'm not mad at the cruise line. I'm not mad at the airlines for pulling out. Look, they're not pulling no gun on you, giving it to them. Listen, this is business, this is negotiation. You understand? We are half hour off the world's largest consumer. Where they going for these cruises? You gonna ride around our island? Do that. If we can't make no money, that's our position.
as well do
No
that.
more of these all-inclusives. No more of that. Why are you putting yourself in a position for these people to bypass your tourism product where they could do business in your country without you? That's stupid.
Owning the land and the sea
That's,
operation.
and could operate a business where they don't have to pay you. And on top of that, they're not paying no duty for all that food and rum they selling on the ship in the Bahamas to the tune of
No any
billions of
licenses.
dollars.
No any licenses to operate.
No VAT on the goods and service. Listen here, if a guy is in your country, on your turf, if he's making $1, you need to make $1.
So-
you got to get piece of the action. This is your country.
So, gentlemen, unfortunately, we're just getting started because the Coalition of Save Clifton is just revving up its organization to oppose this. And as Shelley said, we should not have a beef with the Disney Cruise Lines. All we want to say to them is, look, you've made your proposal to the president. Sit small now and let the Bahamian people, along with the government, make a decision on your proposal. Stop trying to influence people by buying or renting a crowd, because that crowd in Saudi Arabia was rented. We were there a few days before that, and we had the feel of that place, and we know that crowd was rented. We're saying to them, stop renting the crowd.
And tell the Bahamian people, stop allowing yourself to be prostituted
That's
and
right.
pimped. I mean, I understand the urgency of things, but here's the thing. You cannot cut off your nose to spoil your face. All you have to do is stand for him and negotiate a good deal. Where they going? Where they going?
Where they
Look here,
going?
we right next to the U.S. You got to drive through here. We get the beautifulest water in the world. We get the nicest people. We just have to have the confidence now to negotiate the good deals for us, and everybody could eat good.
And they have a group who is a local group that's already on the ground, that's creating multi-jobs for locals there. We've seen them. We went to their training center where we saw the young men being trained in the various skills. We went to their credit union. We went to the places where we see them on the ground, and they are willing, and from what we are told, I do not know, but what we are told, they have the wherewithal to at least buy the land and be prepared to hold it in perpetuity.
Well, whether they have the wherewithal or not, they need to be given the opportunity.
But here's the deal, man. It's simple. This is simple business. If Disney says, look at, we want to come to this place. Okay, Mr. Disney, how much passengers a week you guaranteeing us? 10,000 passengers? Okay, we can do this, this, and this. Now you guarantee them passengers. If you don't bring 10,000, you have to supplement what we lost. That's easy business. That's easy business.
Gentlemen,
Just make the deal
But we
happen.
haven't even talked about the possible destruction on
But gentlemen,
the environment.
This is
when
just the
and which
initial.
The cruise ships are
This
allowed
is
to
just the initial move by the Coalition Save Clifton. We would like for the government to know that we feel just as strongly
come. Oh, no question.
about this as we felt about Clifton. And we fought that for 20 years. And the truth is, we must say to our government, don't do it. You know,
Oh, what's the
very simple.
rush?
No, it's simple. No.
What's the
Don't-
rush, though?
No, don't do it. Very simple. And that's the message that we are saying to them, don't do it. We are tired of that model of direct foreign investment. It's cutting off your nose to spite your face. Folks, we are flat out of time. And as you can see, we're just getting started. You're going to be hearing a lot from us, the Coalition to Save Clifton, on this particular issue. Unless, of course, the government just do what we know they should do and tell Disney, thank you for the offer, but no thanks. Final 2 words.
Listen, the final 2 words is it's time for us to take our country back. It's time for us to make better deals with foreign investors. It has to be a win-win situation. Bahamian ownership is our country. If we're not making $1, you don't need to be here. Your only job is to come here so we can make some serious money, not these little ones and twos. We want to make the big money just like you. And if we can't make that, hey,
go home.
We
It's
understand.
time for Bahamians to have ownership, particularly when you talk about such wonderful possible attractions, not only for for the visitors, but for Bahamians. Bahamians, every Bahamian in this country need to go to Eleuthera and experience what we've experienced.
And with
ownership, Bahamian ownership is the way forward for
And
the
with the
Bahamas.
government, should the government allow that and sign that agreement, we can kiss that,
Oh, that's
that place
gone
goodbye.
forever.
Well, more important than kiss the place goodbye, you've just set a precedent for the cruise, the economic model for the cruise. You've just set a precedent, a national security issue, where these guys can take over and hijack your number one industry.
And put a
When
fence
these
ar-
guys
put a
get
fence
together,
around it.
they start hostage you and
Under the
extort
guise
you.
of-
You lose.
Under the guise of international security measures.
And then they put pressure on the hotel industry. They won't pull out, and you getting raped back and forth. You know, you
I
can
see
need a
the-
gynecologist.
I see the spirit of Clifton is alive
That's
and well.
alive and well.
Alive and well, and we really don't want to get a rev up. But if we have to, we will. The Bahamian people will understand. They stood with us in the past. I think they'll stand with us again. Folks, you've been watching Moving Forward, and we are so grateful that you took a few minutes of your time to be with us. Continue to be alert, because this is a fight that's going to go on until victory is won. Thank you. Good evening. God bless you.
Only love can save us now.